Hey, my name is King, or as some of you might know me better, Israel. I've gotten around, but hopefully you recognize me from my own channel, King Tannic. There's a new show coming to the Burnettwork that I think is pretty exciting. Welcome to the Otaku Experience, hosted by yours truly. There is going to be a weekly series where we dive into the news and the world of anime, manga, and whatever the heck else Japan has to offer us. The show will be pre-recorded and premiere on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Time or 5 p.m. Eastern right here on the Burnettwork YouTube channel.
Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and of course, your pharaoh of physical media. Let my 4Ks go. That's right, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm Rob casting at you, you imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. This is Let's Get Physical Media number 105. Now, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't watch this show for me. You don't. As much as I would like to think that you come here to look at my face and look in my beautiful hazel eyes and listen to my pitter-patter, my vocal stylings, my lyrical flow, as it were, that's really not the case, is it? You come for your favorite German, you come for my favorite German, everybody's favorite German, all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland, Mr. Dieter Bastian.
Rob, they certainly have nothing to look at here. You know, no hair is left. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, Dieter, rock you like Erken, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media. And Rob, after a little bit of a shitty week at work, one thing that I got out of doing the show with you is connecting, you know, with people even more than just here in the live chat. And I want, at first order, I want to give a shout out to my Australian friend Simon, who got me a little nervous this week because he had to go to the hospital and had brain surgery. Rob, he had a tumor removed, but he's out of surgery. So Simon, now you're out of surgery. Now it can only go back up. Rest, my friend. I hope everything went well with the operation. So it was a little bit concerning, but the operation is done, so fine. So Simon, you will have to come back to full health because Cobra Kai Season 6 is still in the works. Because if you were gone, Simon, I had to come after you and spoil you the season. So Simon, little shout out to you, my friend. I hope you're getting back to full strength as quickly as possible. Because operating on the brain, Rob, is tricky. It is tricky.
Do you think that they filmed it so we can actually get a copy and maybe play it on the show? The removal of the tumor? I mean, because you think, you know, Dr. Pimple Popper will watch giant things extracted from people's skin on YouTube. I'd love to see a nice tumor removed from Simon's brain. Maybe we could make a little Blu-ray out of it.
Yeah, I have no idea how they have done it and how big the tumor was. But Simon, little shout out to you.
Congrats for coming through with flying colors, Simon.
Exactly, Rob. And on another thing, Rob, since we're not infallible, correct our mistakes.
Wait. You're not infallible.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. You're not infallible. Just,
I made a mistake, Rob, last week.
Uh-oh.
We did did a little review. You did review Tetris, and I reviewed Ghosted last week. But our rating system is totally off, Rob. I said, what would you give it on a score of 10? But here on Physical Media, our actually rating system would have to be, Rob, would you actually buy Tetris if it went to Physical Media? Let's say, let's not do the second side, limited, special, super.
Yeah.
Let's say just a 4K, little audio commentary. Would Tetris be a movie worth purchasing on 4K?
To be honest, I don't think that I would buy it. Only because, I like the movie a lot. I don't know. It depends if it had a lot of special features on it about the actual situation. Maybe a thing on the history of Nintendo. I could be convinced. But the movie alone probably would not make me convinced because I can always see it streaming. It's not... there isn't anything about it that I necessarily latched onto cinematically, editorially. It was a good movie, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it's the same reason I don't buy every movie. I mean, there's movies that I like that I would never buy.
Yeah. For me, Rob, it's the same. I would not buy Ghosted, even like most of the majority. I enjoy the movie. So no purchase for me on Ghosted 2 if it would come out on Blu-ray. That is actually the rating that we should give here on our show. And Rob, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy has started this weekend. And how did the newest MCU movie?
Oh yeah, that's what I always forget. Let's take a gander, shall we? Let's see what we've got.
I have no idea.
You know what's great? I can tell you. I can tell you. So
that's why the
So here we go. Let me give you the global news first. Guardians of the Galaxy rockets to 282 million global opening. Very respectable. Guardians of the Galaxy is rocketed to an estimated 282.1 million. This beats projections, which were cautious given uncertainty in Asian markets, particularly China and Korea. Ultimately, they overperformed at 28.1 million and 13.6 million, respectively. The international box office weekend was 168.1 million in 52 markets. The overseas launch is 70% ahead of the first Guardians of the Galaxy and on par with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which had the benefit of the May Day holiday playtime in many markets. On a like-for-like basis, removing China from the comparison, the opening weekend for the threequel is 98% ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy and 13% above Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The top 5 markets where it opened are China, the UK, Korea, Mexico, and France internationally. And in IMAX, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 grossed $25 million from 1,550 screens in 82 markets to set the biggest global score of 2023 for the format and the third highest for Marvel since Avengers Endgame. So that's pretty cool. Just as an aside, the Super Mario Brothers movie made another $50 million in offshore markets. The overseas box office gross for Super Mario Brothers is $637.2 million, and it has now moved to $1.15 billion globally. It is the now 5th biggest animated film ever, and Universal's 2nd biggest film ever. So,
Nice.
So domestically, our friend Anthony D'Alessandro says, after Saturday Night Update, great news, as Disney and Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 held it together on Saturday with an estimated $38.8 million, just 20% off from its Friday and preview figures. This will get the James Gunn-directed MCU swan song to $114 million domestically, which is higher than the $110 million we were spotting earlier in the week. Essentially and logically, the great heat out there for the film kicked in. Phew! So it ranks so far as the 50th highest global debut ever for a movie. And 8 million people went to see it versus the 7.2, which went to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. While better than expected, some still have concern about superhero fatigue. Again, this is domestic. Still, $100 million plus opening to start the summer, while easing some motion picture industry fears, does put stress on the rest of the season's calendar to deliver. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is opening here in the States. In recent memory, is one of the lower kickoff summer openings, excluding the pandemic. It's just north of 2002's Spider-Man, that pick being the first ever movie to open north of $100 million in a given weekend. Last year, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness opened at $187.4 million, and it was the first weekend of May. It drove those ticket sales to $220.3 million, which resulted in a $3.44 billion summer. That said, why was the opening here for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 not as vibrant as Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which opened with $146.5 million?
Yeah.
So a lot more. Sources believe that part of 2's pinnacle was more of a fluke in its overperformance, and that the gross here for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is within the franchises and the MCU's deeper universe pictures. So that's interesting. Now they're calling the pictures that are deeper within the universe, meaning not Thor, not Iron Man, not Captain America. We've been served plenty of Deadpool 2, for instance. So, hey, you know what? More to the point, why did Ant-Man and the Wasp go up in its opening as a threequel and Guardians come down? Because the former had the added bonus of Kang the Conqueror. You know what? This is all Monday morning quarterbacking. Let's see what else did. So, Guardians was number one with 114. This is domestic. Super Mario Brothers has made 18.6 this weekend for a total of 518 million here domestically. Evil Dead Rise has made a total of 5.73 million for a total of $54.1 million for a movie that was made for streaming that they were never going to release theatrically. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Very good.
Or as I like to call it, Then Again, Maybe I Won't. If for you Judy Blume fans out there, nobody gets that joke. I think I'm really funny, but whatever. 3.38 million, so it's made 12.6 million. Love Again. I don't even know what that is. But hey, it made 2.4 million.
Me neither.
John Wick, Chapter 4, domestically has grossed 180 million. Dungeons and Dragons is at 90 million. Air, Ben Affleck's movie, has made 50.2 million theatrically, not bad. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, which I hear is actually quite good, is at 14.77 million. Zizou, which you must see if you have not seen it, has a total of 5.5 million. So there you go, buddy. That's all the box office news that's fit to print.
And the question is, Rob, what do you think? How will Guardians hold up? Because I have seen it yesterday. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was a little bit messy, a little bit crowded, a little bit overstuffed. And it was really freaky considering all the designs that I saw yesterday. There were so much creatures, they could have filled up easily 3 or 5 movies with them.
Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't seen it yet. I keep trying to go. Because I've been helping Elizabeth has her her art show today, and dealing with the ever growing puppies that we need to adopt, or I'm going to go crazy. Yeah. So I haven't seen it. I'm probably going to go see it tonight, but maybe not, because I'm doing a really interesting observations with a TV writer who wrote for Mad Men, West Wing, 6 Feet Under, and Rick Cleveland. That's going to be tonight on Observations at 8. We're going to delve into the Writers Guild strike. I really want to see it, but I think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is at a point where it's all kind of. I mean, I love the Infinity Saga, loved it, all 23 movies. I loved the whole thing, and they led up to Endgame, and Infinity War and Endgame are two of the most wildly entertaining fantasy movies I've ever seen. Love them. I could watch them over and over again. I never get tired of those two movies or the characters. All of these Marvel movies now, I feel like they're wandering aimlessly in the desert looking for a port of call or something. I don't think there are ports of call in deserts, so my analogy is a bad one. But they just are. They're They're fine. And look, I'm sure this Guardians is great, and there's a story about Rocket, because the Guardians weren't necessarily integral. They're kind of unto themselves, which I think is great, and people seem to really like the movie. But I think overall, I'm watching these Marvel movies, and here's what's really interesting to me about where Marvel is right now. So if you look at the Captain America trilogy, really, I think a terrific trilogy of movies. Captain America, the First Avenger, delightful odyssey of a man who gets physically changed and then goes through World War II and lives up to his ideals. Great. Second movie, Winter Soldier, 70s conspiracy theory movie, thriller, Hydra's taken over the government. The movie itself, if it was not a Captain America movie, and if it was just a movie about a soldier discovering that the government had been taken over by Hydra, it would be compelling. It would be an interesting movie. And then Civil War, same thing. You have a philosophical difference between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers over the Sokovia Accords. Which leads to a schism in the Avengers, and they're battling each other. That's an interesting movie. I think what the Marvel has lost is their movies are just not that interesting anymore. Like, Quantum Mania, was it really about Scott Lang was in it. He went into the quantum realm, and of course he had to protect everybody from Kang, but he himself, other than having to help the people he loved, it wasn't really about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and Thor: Love and Thunder, while Jane Foster comes back and all this, you're dealing with Gore the God Butcher, and Thor's just kind of in this movie, but the movie wasn't necessarily about Thor. And it's really interesting. Kevin Feige I'm going off on a tangent here, but Kevin Feige is a big Star Trek The Next Generation fan. And in the third season of Star Trek The Next Generation, a new head writer came in, Michael Piller. And the first two seasons of Next Gen were not really working as well as they would have hoped, because they were trying to recreate the original series formula from the 60s. And Michael Piller came in and said, look, instead of looking outside for external threats or something, we're going to flip the script, and now, beginning with the third season of Next Generation, all of our stories have to be first and foremost about one of our characters. We can have external threats, but they've got to be about our characters first. And I think that's what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is missing. Iron Man 1 is about Tony Stark's transformation from playboy without a bon vivant, wealthy, banging chicks left and right, and it's about his crisis of conscience and how he learns to be a better man. Well, that's an interesting story. The Marvel Cinematic Universe needs to now focus on the main characters and how do the main characters, what is their story? It needs to be about our main characters. It's not about that. I mean, Quantum Mania was more about Kang and the quantum realm and setting up. Who cares? I mean, the whole, look at the Ant-Man #1. It's about Scott Lang getting out of jail and wanting to be a better father. So, and trying to connect with Cassie. And that in itself makes the movie more resonant and interesting. And I think that's where we're winding up with superhero fatigue, because especially in the Marvel universe, the movies are no longer about the main characters. They're about the bigger universe. And that is my big, and that might not be the case with Guardians, because it's literally about Rocket's story, or so I've heard. But anyway, those are my Robservations for this morning's Let's Get Physical Media.
I will need a second viewing to really evaluate it. How would I put it in the ring? At the moment, it is my least favorite, but it has a lot of, I would say, trauma roots from James Gunn, just considering the creature designs, Rob.
They're
insane.
Sure.
They're totally wacky, totally insane. Like I said, it's a little bit, for me, too messy, too crowded, too convoluted, but nevertheless, I have some good laughs. We're still in it, but it's of course not a movie for newcomers. You have to be already a fan of the first two.
Sure.
There's no newcomers that will be lost completely. Even the holiday special, Rob, gets a little bit of an Easter egg at the end credit scene. A little bit of Easter egg came from the holiday special from the Guardians. Rob, where do we go from here?
Well, I have some exciting news that dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. As many of you might know, I, unsurprisingly, am a fan of the Japanese pinky violence genre. Ooh. Basically, pinky violence was a series of Japanese exploitation films that usually had lots of sex and nudity and violence in them. Women were locked in prison or whatever. Things that I'd get canceled for liking now. And they just announced for the first time, Discotek announced that they're releasing, that's right, Terrifying Girls High School. Hang on, let me turn this on the live output so you can see. There it is. You can see it on the screen. Terrifying Girls High School. But wait, it's Terrifying Girls High School Courage, Animal Classmates, whatever. Now, I'm very excited. Look at this cover. Who doesn't want this, right? Now, you might ask yourself, so they just announced this. This was announced this week. Now, this is one of 4 films in the Terrifying Girls High School series, of which I only 4. Can you believe it? Not 1, but 4. Now, here's the thing. I think I showed this early on. Yeah. I don't know if you have this, but do you have this from 2005, the Pinky Violence box set?
Unfortunately, not, Rob.
I know, dude. You are fucking missing out. Let me tell you. So this has great Japanese girl exploitation. Yeah. The first movie, Delinquent Girl Boss, Worthless to Confess. I mean, come on, man. It's so great. Then we've got the different Girl Boss movies.
Yeah.
Then there's just Girl Boss Gorilla. Then there's Terrifying Girls High School Lynch Law Classroom. Terrifying Girls High School Lynch Law Classroom. That was another in the series. So now, my friend, here's we got the Terrifying Girls High School 4-film series is Terrifying Girls High School Women's Violent Classroom. That is from 1972. Then there's Terrifying Girls High School Lynch Law Classroom from 1973. Terrifying Girls High School Delinquent Convulsion Group. That was number 3 from September of 1973. And then the final Terrifying Girls High School Animal Courage from December 1st, 1973. And up until now, only the one that was in this collection was available. So now...
When did this collection came out, Rob?
This came out in 2005.
Okay, never stumbled across.
Oh, it's great. And it's also got a soundtrack album. And Reiko Aiki stars in all 4 movies. And then this is, of course, Reiko Aiki sings. And it's just as good as you want it to be. So let me just say that this, and of course, this is a DVD set, not a Blu-ray set.
Yeah.
But, for aging men like myself, hang on, I got to put this in there, having, as much Japanese girl exploitation cinema as I can get, you can't lose with that. I mean, look at this. Come on. The Pinky Violence Collection. Female Bikers Gang Violence Cat Fights. This is from Panic House. Panic House presents the Pinky Violence Collection, the creme de la creme of Japanese exploitation cinema. See the queens of the genre. Excuse me. I still have my cough. As they explode with reckless abandon, brace yourselves for the be-all and end-all of Grindhouse girls gone way past wild. Yeah.
Let's start the Vinegar Syndrome petition for a 4K.
Terrifying Girls High School, Animal Classmates, coming out from Discotek. Come on, dude.
Rob,
highlight of my week.
Yeah. Since you brought out Discotek Media, I got one purchase this week from Shion Sono, one of his older movies, Suicide Club, I got this week. It comes with a different artwork beneath it. And this comes from Discotheque Media 2. For me, it's a little bit of an unknown label, just as you mentioned it. Now.
They mostly do animated stuff. Science Sono, have you watched that movie? Yeah.
That movie I probably haven't seen, Rob. I can't remember seeing it. And it says it is remastered in high definition and now on Blu-ray for the first time, Rob.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I forgot to order that. I have that on DVD. That movie, first of all, is fucking great. And wait till you see what happens in the opening scene.
Okay.
And Science Sono, who went on to make that, he went on to make movies like Love Exposure.
Cold Fish.
I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
He's like Japan's greatest gay poet turned exploitation filmmaker. I mean, come on. Dude, Suicide Club, you got to send me a WhatsApp message as soon as you watch the opening scene. That's all I can say. The opening scene is...
Okay, I will.
There's a reason it's called Suicide Club.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I'm drinking water out of my For All Mankind swag.
Nice.
I was shilling. See, you know, people are. Somebody accused me, wrote a whole blog post accusing me of shilling for Picard season 3. That I'm getting something out of it. The only thing I've got recently for shilling was Sony sent me a swag bag of For All Mankind stuff because I was talking about how much I love For All Mankind. So,
should we go into some letters, Rob?
Yeah, we have a lot. They're short, but hit us up with a letter. Hit us up with a letter, buddy.
Okay. The first one, and they come almost all from well-known names here as letter writers go. The first is from Vincent from France. Hi, Rob. Guten Tag, Dieter. As this is the year of the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, I'd like to tell you about my discovery of the movie Ladies They Talk About. This is a Warner Archive Blu-ray release of the 1933 movie starring Barbara Stanwyck and Preston Foster. It's a great pre-code movie that involves women in prison. There we go again, Rob. There would be more movies in the 50s on that front. This is a great tribute to Barbara Stanwyck, who did a lot of movies at Warner and also to the gangster genre that the studio was so created. I recommend this movie. It's fast-paced and the Blu-ray is in pristine condition. The black and white is gorgeous. Rob, thank George Feldenstein and his great team for the street. This was released in November 2021 in the US and came out 2 months ago in the UK. Enjoy. Rob, you help me out here a little bit. What is a pre-code movie? It's a great pre-code movie.
Okay.
Don't know this term.
So what happened was there was something called the Hays Code. And basically, as Americans are wont to do, when Hollywood, when they were making early movies, the silent era and into the 30s, into talkies, they made a lot of movies with, let's say, questionable morals, as they would say. Violence, sex, things that went beyond the pale. And of course, our religious-minded population, there were a lot of moralists who came on the scene and said something had to be done about Hollywood. So they imposed something called the Hays Code. And the Hays Code, was, so basically the motion picture industry, in order to save itself, you know, they adopted the Hays Code. And the Hays Code affected all movies that were released between 1934 to 1968. So, how is that crazy?
Yeah, totally.
It is also known as the Hays Code. Let me read what the Wikipedia has to say here.
Yeah.
It was named after Will H. Hays, the president of the Motion Picture and Distributors of America, the MPPDA, from 1922 to 1945. Under Hays' leadership, the MPPDA, later the Motion Picture Association of America, and the Motion Picture Association adopted the production code in 1930 and began rigidly enforcing it in 1934. The production code spelled out acceptable and unacceptable content for motion pictures produced for a public audience in the United States. From 1934 to 54, the code was closely identified with Joseph Breen, the administrator appointed by Hayes to enforce the code in Hollywood. The film industry followed the guidelines set by the code well into the late 1950s, but it began to weaken owing to the combined impact of television, the influence of foreign films, controversial directors such as Otto Preminger, pushing boundaries, and intervention from the courts, including the U.S. Supreme Court. In 1968, after several years of minimal enforcement, the production code was replaced by the MPAA rating system.
Oh, okay.
And this is kind of interesting. In the 1920s, Hollywood was rocked by a number of notorious scandals, such as the murder of William Desmond Taylor and the alleged rape of Virginia Rapp by popular movie star Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, which brought widespread condemnation from religious, civic, and political organizations. Many felt that the film industry had always been morally questionable. Yes, it is. And political pressure was increasing, with legislatures in 37 states introducing almost 100 film censorship bills in 1921. In 1922, as they were faced with the prospect of having to comply with hundreds and potentially thousands of inconsistent, easily changed decency laws in order to show their films, the studios chose self-regulation as the preferable option, enlisting Presbyterian elder Will H. Hayes, Postmaster General under former President Warren G. Harding, and former head of the Republican National Committee, to rehabilitate Hollywood's image. The move mimicked the decision that Major League Baseball had made in hiring Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis as league commissioner the previous year to quell questions about the integrity of baseball in the wake of the 1919 World Series gambling scandal. So, in 24, Hayes introduced a series of recommendations dubbed the Formula, which studios were advised to heed, and asked filmmakers to describe to his office the plots of film they were planning on producing. In 1915, the Supreme Court had decided unanimously in Mutual Film Corporation versus Industrial Commission of Ohio that free speech did not extend to motion pictures.
Ooh.
While there had been token attempts to clean up the films before, such as when the studios formed the National Association of Motion Picture Industry in 1916, little had come of the efforts. So the pre-code movies are movies before the Hays Code was really starting to be enforced in 1934. So they got away with a lot. Basically what they got away with was life. What happened was with Hays Code movies, they wanted to whitewash everything, like married couples had to be shown sleeping in two separate beds. And there was a whole, you couldn't show this, you couldn't show that. And it was pretty interesting. And in order to keep the industry going, Hollywood had to sort of comply themselves. So that's what a pre-code movie is.
Yeah. I wasn't familiar with that.
Well, what makes older movies so much fun, pre-code films a lot of fun to watch, whether they're gangster movies or comedies or erotic thrillers or whatever, is that clearly, I mean, you're watching something that was made in the 20s or the 30s, but it's pretty bawdy, it's pretty adult, they're getting away with something, and it's almost like you're watching your grandparents when they were younger doing bad things. And it was the not rated time. Yeah, so to speak. I mean, it's all pretty tame now. So, but yeah.
Okay, nice to know about that term. The next one comes from Brian Knight, and he has a complaint. Peter drinks a beer out of a can. Peter, the world watched in horror as a good beer drinking German was observed. What was admitted to be a beer out of an aluminum can, no respectable German would be caught drinking a beer in nothing less than a beer stein or at minimum beer bottle. How beer drinking standards have fallen. To my excuse, Brian, it was not a fully fledged beer. It was a so-called Radler, which is beer with lemonade. It's just a tiny bit of alcohol, so it was not really beer. This is not
improving your case. As a matter of fact, I'd say you're digging yourself a hole. You weren't even.
I tried to dig myself out, Rob. It wasn't really a fully beer.
But that's even worse that you were even putting that swill in your mouth.
And I haven't even bought that can. It came from a friend. I tried to make excuses, but it is the truth.
When was the last time you bought yourself a beer, Dieter?
I will, Rob, for when we do a show next week, hopefully, because it's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's coming around.
So
I will have one. I will have one, Rob. I will have one next week.
How about we have some whiskey?
In a bottle. Do I have whiskey? I have to check.
You don't have any whiskey. You don't have any booze in your house. Let's face it.
The next one comes from Video Hunter D. Show and Tell. He says, "Dear Rob and Dieter, I love the show, but I do have a suggestion. Why not incorporate a show and tell segment occasionally? Surely many watchers of this program have impressive collections and can delight the two of you and your audience with their physical media. I, for one, am very curious to see what these media hoarders have scrolled away in their collections. In the spirit of this letter, I will attach the image of something I think would bring a smile to Rob's face from my own collection. Well, what do you think, gentlemen? Is this something you would consider? Friend of the show, Video Hunter D. I don't know, Rob, have you the picture that he sent you?
Oh, yes. I got the pictures that he sent me. Here's what Video Hunter D sent. And I have to, first of all, Video Hunter D sent this. Yeah. This is the very rare Laserdisc of James Spader and Machen and Mick's Dream Lover. This is the uncut version. It's only ever been released on Laserdisc. It has 5 extra minutes of basically fucking. 5 extra minutes of fucking from James Spader and Machen and Mick. I mean, to me, first of all, this is a great movie. This is a great erotic thriller. It also has William Shockley in it, who says William Shockley, who he was in Showgirls. He's the rapist in Showgirls. He has this great line where James Spader's trying to find out about his wife that he realizes he doesn't know anything about her, and he finds like her old ex-husband or something, and William Shockley in his kind of like southern drawl says about his wife Sissy, "She did things to me I can't even pronounce." That to me is one of the, and I've always thought since I saw that movie, I want to meet a girl that does things to me that I can't even pronounce. But a great line. So you can only get that version of the movie. I do have that Laserdisc. So I think, Dieter, this is a great idea.
The only thing I would suggest, Rob, people should prematurely reach out to you, considering if you would just use the usual that you put out a link in the chat, you will probably get the usual crowd coming in.
No, I would say, look, if I would love to see people's collections. You got to put in a letter and then put an attachment with pictures.
Yeah,
it's got to be that, because and give us a little preamble and explain what you like to collect, because I'm getting ready to, like, I just do this show and where I've always done it, where I do all the other shows, but I'm getting ready to. I finally got this last shelf unit. I'm going to start doing this show when I get my other computer back from the shop. So I'm going to start doing this. So behind me is going to be my physical media collection. Nice. So that's where I'll start broadcasting from, which will be fun. I can't wait to do that. Yeah. So, I did a stream the other night about physical media because it was a really great article I wanted to share about the golden age. Yeah. So I showed a lot of things that you got me from.
And I remember, Rob, you said one thing that I remember doing myself: taping stuff, doing your own audio version, just the audio version of it.
Yeah.
And I remember even having a specific cable that I could attach to my cassette recorder. I really think that this was a strange cable, not used anymore. But I remember that, Rob, making that too, Rob, audio version.
Well, you got to make your audio cassettes, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. I think everybody, if you want to send your pictures of your physical media collections in, please do. Just again, you can send it to postgeeksingularity.com, right down there, and we'll write us a little letter, explain what you collect, why you collect, how long you've collected, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then we'll show pictures. Why not? Fun for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Count me in.
The next one the next two, again. Brian Knight, again. My first VHS player. Robert, watched your observations on Friday because you were discussing laser VHS and DVDs. So here's my story of my first VHS player. I didn't just buy my VHS player for movies. I bought it so I could record the David Letterman shows on ABC in the 1980s.
Wow.
During college at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, I wasn't about to stay awake until 12:30 in the morning to watch it live. I would record Letterman's show and then watch it while eating breakfast. Did that until 2003, when I finally gave up on Letterman, when he started preaching politics and he only interviewed guests in shorter and shorter segments. 2 guests and a music act in just 30 minutes. Well, those talk shows did speed up their program probably 2 times. When did I get the first VHS player that I got, Rob, actually my parents bought for us,
Sure.
And they bought the first VHS player. But I don't remember that had a huge cable had to be drawn to my room. I don't even want to think about the quality anymore about it. And I remember when you said, but ours didn't have that, like you said, the piano.
The piano, yeah, we had
buttons.
the piano. Those are the early piano. Yes, that's why I always call them the piano key buttons.
And Brian Knight says, with the next letter, my first Emmanuel viewing. Robert,
Ooh.
I'm simply going to boost about my first viewing of Emmanuel. For my high school graduation, I was given a 7-week European tour with my high school friends. After visiting England for 2 weeks, we spent a week in Paris. While walking down the Champs-Élysées, I found an adult theater playing Emmanuel. First adult movie I watched in my life. This set a standard for watching adult films. I gave up on adult films in the 1990s, after the industry gave up on plot and dialogue. All you were able to watch were 2 hours movies broken up into 15-minute scenes. Again, no plot, acting, or dialogue. Bonus, when we arrived in Rome, went to the Pope's summer residence at Lake Como and witnessed the last public appearance of Pope Paul VI on a Sunday. He died 3 days later on a Wednesday as I was flying back to the United States, which is a strange bonus, Brian, to add, considering you're watching Emmanuel and then you went to see the Pope. Okay? What was a bonus in your letter? And the last...
And of course,
Yeah,
I just because I've got it right here, I showed it.
Ooh.
You did get me this box set of the original Emmanuel movies, and this box set is really outstanding. I mean, you have the first Emmanuel, but there's so much there's movie posters in here, books, cards.
So the only thing that's missing is the new 14, or was it 15 discs, Rob, that you showed?
Well, the 15 discs of Black Emmanuel starring Laura Gemser, which it was pointed out to me, Laura Gemser, I don't know if it's Emmanuel 1 or 2, is actually in the first Emmanuel series and washes Emmanuel's feet. So she does have a tie to the Emmanuel series, and that's why they made her, even though she's Indonesian, but they're calling her Black Emmanuel.
Okay.
Someone's going to get pissed about that, I'm sure. But hey, can't wait. Can't wait.
And the last one comes from Vincent from France. And he writes, Hi Rob, guten Tag, Dieter. I enjoyed your last observations about physical media and the article on Letterboxd. This is very hopeful for the future. I also recommend episode 52 of the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel called The History of Physical Media. Some guy named Robert Meyer Burnett tells how he produced special features on DVDs and the budgets for the documentaries. It's a welcome deep dive. You should invite him on this show, Dieter. I will do that. From what I gather from your experience on Superman, material on the cutting room floor. It's too bad that studios don't include these as additional extras for 4K UHD releases. Too many times the 4K discs have even less extras than the previous Blu-rays. That can happen from friends, that the 4K has less
You're out of
special
sync.
features.
Let me see if I can put you back in. It was weird. I saw a jump and then it went out of sync. Sometimes it does this, and I just upgraded this software too, so it's
live, Rob. It's live, and over a little distance. Okay.
It's true. I mean, it's like the old routine. You're not around the block. What can we do, Dieter?
Excellent. We can show physical media, Rob.
We can. Would you like to start? Or do you want me to start?
I can start, Rob, if you want.
Why don't you start? Show us what
Okay.
what do you got, dude? Show us what you got. Whip it
The
out.
first thing I got, Rob, is the first one that I got, Rob, is a book. You know
What?
I bought a book, Rob. Yeah, I bought a book. Strangely enough,
Well,
and it comes from our good friend David Kogel, who finished and wrote a book.
Hang on a second.
And I
You're
said,
you're driving me crazy now that you're out of sync. Let me dump you out of here and come back in. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm gonna dump you and come back in.
Yeah.
Disconnect and reconnect. Hopefully you can come back in. And
test 1 2.
you're good.
1 2.
You're good.
Better?
You're
Better?
good. Yeah, you're better now. You're synced up.
Okay. Well, if I'm in sync, I bought a book, Rob. I bought a book, and it comes from our friend David Kogel, who wrote a book, published it through Amazon, and he is one of my. And he did send me a lot of stuff again out of sync, Rob.
No, you just froze. I think it has something to do. Maybe the Russians are cutting the internet lines with their submarines because they're pissed at losing the war. Who knows?
Should we try a back in, back out?
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. All good.
Okay. And he did send me a lot of stuff over our connection, so I bought his book, and his book is called Haley's Question.
All right.
He did the artwork himself. Here he is. And what is Haley's Question about? I haven't watched it. I haven't read it yet. But we are mentioned, Rob, in the introduction.
You're kidding.
Both of us. Yeah. And what is this about? The $1 million question. Astronomer Dr. Haley Larson has a love-hate relationship with humanity. She treasures our capacity for love and creativity and abhors our tendencies towards cruelty and selfishness. When the Earth faces a devastating threat, Haley and her friends struggle to fight back and to answer the question, does the human race deserves to survive? Haley's Question. I bought a book. Unbelievable. My first physical media for this week.
That's exciting. Congratulations to David. I'll go buy that book.
Yeah. Perhaps you don't need to, Rob. I won't say more. I don't want to say more.
Okay.
Perhaps you don't need. Perhaps
I
you
would
don't
just
need
like
to.
I'd just like to point out that I do have David Kokel's. He made this cup for me.
Yeah.
That's a friend of his, and I've enjoyed his artwork. I have a lot of it here in the Robservatory.
Nice. But you, like I said, Rob, you don't have to buy it. Wait a little.
Okay.
The first one, Rob, you showed it last week, and of course, considering US releases that we both buy, I'm always behind you. The post is not that fast traveling to Germany. I got my, like you, Super Cop Police Story 3.
That's such a great box. Isn't that a great box set? Come on.
Yeah, it looks so dope. And because I already own actually the movie on 4K, because I, as you remember, I bought the Eureka set. But what I didn't like about the Eureka set were just, the cover artwork.
Yeah, I didn't buy the Eureka set. I should have, but I didn't get it.
Wasn't particularly thrilling. It looked more, actually, Rob. The outside box is great, but inside it looked more like a bootleg. You would buy a bootleg. And this one is more up to our, special edition standards. And Rob, it showed it has great back. And Rob, wait, I have to get it out here. And you could switch the cover artwork, Rob.
Yeah.
You left it like it was. So there is actually 3 artworks, but I thought this is nice.
Great cover.
Nice too. And like you showed it, there's I think an 80-page booklet, is it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
So 88 films,
Go 88
All out
films.
out of their way to deliver this. And Rob, this is just an US release because Eureka put it out in the UK. Normally 88 is more of an UK label, or am I wrong here?
No, they are. They probably could only put it out in the US because Eureka had the license to put it out in the UK.
Yeah. Okay.
But so much the better for us.
Yeah, definitely. So I got Police Story 3 Super Cup, and I think, Rob, probably have it on Laserdisc still.
Yep.
Police
Criterion put it out.
Yeah, now I remember. It was a Criterion release.
Yep.
I think you're right about it. Police Story 3 Super Cup. The next one, Cat in the Bag from America. The movie is just called Poser. Played on the Tribeca Film Festival. The quotes are oddly beautiful, absurdly compelling, and even freakishly watchable. The real-life alternative music scene of Columbus, Ohio provides a treacherously hip backdrop to this intriguing psychodrama about fitting in and finding a voice. So, hopefully, good movie. Let's see.
That sounds cool.
Poser. I bought Poser. This one, Rob, you showed last week. I will show it a little bit more in detail. Action Mutante, but you already had it in your nice
In a
plastic
sleeve, I did.
Cover artwork, another cover artwork.
Wait, show it again because you paused a little bit.
Okay. So here is the other artwork that is below the O-ring, which is always nice. Did you get around to watch it, Rob, or just check it quality-wise?
Yeah, I looked at a little bit of it. It looks great. It's Severin, so they do a great job. It's a beautiful transfer.
So considering Alex de la Iglesia, so we are done. We have help me out, Perdita Durango. We have on 4K. We have this one,
Day of the Beast.
Day of the Beast. So we are actually good, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
His 4K stuff. The next one, a Schnäppchen, Rob. I made a Schnäppchen, but I haven't seen the movies. A little bit of anime. It is the Berserk movies. It's just a paper outer case. So nothing special, but anime movies normally are a little bit more expensive. So these are the 3 movies of the series, but I have no knowledge of the series as a manga or as a series. So this is the first one, and they always get bigger in the running time.
Yeah,
First one. Second, Berserk. And the third one.
Yeah,
so
I'm
cat
really
in the back, but the Schnäppchen cat in the back.
Yeah, I really want to see those. I don't know much about Berserk.
Are they not on Netflix, I believe, Rob? Or
are they?
On Crunchyroll, probably. On Crunchyroll, perhaps. Berserk. So a little bit of a Schnäppchen. So this was my, let's say, the first whole, Rob.
Okay, well, I'm happy to show you. I didn't get a lot, but I got some cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I got this movie that I only saw once a long time ago, The Assassination Bureau. This came out from. This is I love this. So this has a reversible cover as well. Here, let me. I'll go full frame on this. So this has a reversible cover as well, and so here's the original cover. Well, here's the cover that was out, but I do love this reverse. To me, this is totally 60s when it came out. And this, Ron Grenier wrote the score for this movie. Oliver Reed is in it. It's about, well, the Assassination Bureau. You can have somebody assassinated if they deserve it, basically. And this has a lot of cool special features. Kim Newman does a commentary. There's a 30-minute documentary, Right Film, Wrong Time. And, of course, this stars the delicious Diana Rigg, who was in the Avengers TV series Mrs. Peel. And, of course, she was not only in Game of Thrones, but she was also the Bond girl, Tracy in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I love this. On the cover it says, Zeppelins, bombs, bordellos, burials. You name it, we have it. A frail piece of virtue learns the facts of life the hard way. So this is definitely like a swinging 60s movie, even though it's a period piece about World War I. So picked up the Assassination Bureau. Then, thanks to the great George Feltenstein at Warner Archive, he's put me on a list. So I got not one, but two bags of fun in the mail from Warner Archive. So I received a total of 6 discs, I guess, for the next, is it just this month? I don't know, for my birthday. Hey, what I love about these films is, for the most part, I've never seen them and I haven't heard of a lot of them, but I've heard of the people in them. So to have, like, here's James Cagney, Olivia de Havilland, and also Rita Hayworth in Strawberry Blonde. So can't wait to see that. This we talked about. I talked about a couple weeks ago that this has been announced. But Barbara Stanwyck, Robert Ryan, and Marilyn Monroe in Clash by Night. I mean, I talked about this just weeks ago on the show. Yeah, so here's the disc. And can't wait to see that. Another, I love James Cagney, but this is so funny because James Cagney, A Lion in the Streets. But is he a lion in the sheets, Dieter? Is he a lion in the sheets? We don't know. And of course, you know, this is Raoul Walsh directed this. And it's James Cagney, A Lion in the Streets. I don't know much about this movie. And then, of course, look at this stuff is so cool. The way they use Safe in Hell. This is probably a pre-code movie. Listen to this. This is the best. Forced into prostitution and accused of murder, one woman may soon find herself safe in hell. And then it says, for too long imprisoned by obscurity, Safe in Hell is released at last. This pre-code crime classic, touted at the time as not for children, is frank, startling, and arresting, as gripping today as it was 8 decades ago. Directed by William A. Wellman, Safe in Hell is full of terrors and delights, including the most striking ensemble scene this side of Freaks, and a truly twisted stunner of a finale. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want this after reading that description? And, you know, we're talking, this is, I believe it's a silent movie. And it has some special features on it. It's got a Warner Brothers cartoon on it called Dumb Patrol. So again, they're giving us the restoration of these older films. It's great. Then, of course, William Powell and Kay Francis in One Way Passage. Again, look at the classic artwork. Thank God. God bless them. And then, of course, this is the best. Ginger Rogers and Ronald Reagan in a movie I've actually seen, Storm Warning. Storm Warning. And these are great. On the back, a taut, interesting film that will keep you on the edge of your seat. How generic can you get? But I'll take it. A friendly little town is unmasked in a story as startling as the screen has dared to be. That's right. Ronald Reagan and Storm Warning. So that was the 6 discs that I received from Warner Archive, the unofficial sponsor of this channel. I want to thank you, Warner Archive. And I got to tell you, there is great joy to be had, even if you've never heard of these movies. I've found that putting them on, they're all quite entertaining. And George and his team over at Warner Archive are not giving you anything that you will not appreciate. There's always something. There is joy to be had in what Warner Archive is releasing. And you know what? You should buy them all just to support their efforts because they're great. So some classic films from Warner Archive and the Assassination Bureau from Arrow. I got some more, but I'll throw it back to you, dude. I'll throw it back to you.
Should we go through Super Chats, Rob, first?
Oh, yeah. Do we even? I wasn't even. You're right. I don't know if we have any, but we'll see. Let's see if we have any Super Chats.
Let's see.
We've got a few. Leslie became a new member of the channel. Rec Films Montana became a new member of the channel. Figs93 became a new member of the channel. Marco sends in a super chat and says, for me, the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise suffers generation loss. That's interesting. I like that kind of the idea of re-recording things and how you lose generations. Oh, you know what? This is a good one. Tom Jr. Jackson says, I got The Naked City, which is great, from 1948. The Killers from 1946 and 1964. Night and the City, great movie. I saw that in film school. From the Criterion Collection. And then you got X, Pearl, and Champions, which is fantastic. And so good for you. You know what? I forgot to talk about this. So Brian Doyle writes in, so you know our beloved Severin that has put out so many things that we love. They are putting out the 15-disc box set for Black Emmanuel. They've had 10 years of content on YouTube.
And they did Action Mutanta.
They did, yes. And Severin's been doing so really delving into here's how our big tech overlords, they put out a trailer for Black Emmanuel for what they were doing. They got their entire channel pulled off of YouTube because of Black Emmanuel. 10 years. 10 years of their content. I mean, here's the thing that people have always laughed at me, but this is how it begins. There are people that have no understanding of history. They don't understand the Emmanuel film series. They get nothing out of it. They don't know anything about it. They just look and react to, Black Emmanuel, it's a 15-disc set with however many movies and a book and all that. This is a very dangerous precedent. So Severin Films, that is specialized in giving us exploitation, science fiction, foreign films from around the world, they had their entire YouTube channel 86'd because they put up a preview for products they're putting out of movies that have existed for the better part of 50 years. Because some person has some snap judgment, gets offended, and this is what big tech can do to us. And what's going to happen now is, undereducated, uninformed people who are immediately triggered, and everybody, they feel they get satisfaction through their activism. By their perceived injustice, they go after it. It's really disconcerting. It's really disconcerting how, to me, this is fascism. Call it what you want, but let's start eliminating. First of all, the Black Emmanuel films ran for a long time. It's historical, so let's do what all fascist dictatorships do. Let's erase history. Let's make sure that the historical record is changed, expunged, purged, whatever. So their entire YouTube channel got 86'd. 10 years of content of one of the great restorers of fringe movies working in the world today.
Yeah.
And their YouTube channel got smoked. This is very disconcerting because we're talking, first of all, this is historical. It's not happening today. It's historical. And so, maybe somebody doesn't like women in prison movies. I can understand that. There's a lot of things that people don't like, but it's horrifying. And for a company like Severin that needs YouTube as a platform to get out the word on their projects, would this episode of Let's Get Physical Media or last week's episode get 86 because we're showcasing the big $200 Black Emmanuel box set? California, they've approved we have a reparations committee that just approved giving $1.2 million to every black citizen in the state of California. Yesterday, over the weekend. You know, and it's like where are we all going? Where are we going to wind up with all of this? How many? How far back are we all going to go? And are we going to play the oppression Olympics forever? I mean, and it's just so what? Severin, they put up an ad for a product that they're making. It's not like these films are illegal, and somebody probably has a problem with it. You know, it's like it's insane. It's insane.
Totally.
And the thing is, you know, people are making a living with their YouTube channels. And then one day, I mean, here's a company that's been faithfully selling a product and using YouTube for 10 years, working within the guidelines. And then one day, and when you get your channel 86'd, you might not know what reason you got it 86 for.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is just terrible. Terrible.
Perhaps they can figure something out.
I mean,
and get it back.
You know, if somebody's offended by something or finds it, you know, we're going to talk about oppression, or we're going to talk about something that happened in the past. How far, when, how many years, how many decades do you have to go by or have passed before somebody finds things less offensive? I mean, this idea that we're going to go right the wrongs of the past somehow, how are we supposed to do that? And how far back do you go? You know, it's a little crazy.
So why are you doing a show with a Sherman, Rob?
Well, you know what? Because I forgive and forget. And I wasn't around during World War II. You know, and not
Neither.
all Germans were Nazis. You know, I mean, there are questionable people that drink beer out of aluminum cans like you. But I mean, I can
bring that up, Rob.
Yeah, I can. No, but that's actually a really great question to point out. I mean, look, all of these internecine battles that we fight amongst humanity, we all have to get over it. And I mean, Severin Films, it's all they do is restore the rich cinematic legacy that the studios won't preserve. And they do such a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And they're an incredible company. And to have YouTube 86 them from the platform, I mean, I can understand maybe striking down. I didn't see the Black Emmanuel video in question. It might have been a trailer for the whole box set, and there might have been nudity that violated YouTube standards. So, like anybody else, what you do is you say this violated our community standards. We've made it unavailable. So they re-edited it and put it back up. But they 86 the entire channel. They nuked the channel and 10 years of content. I mean, here's the thing. Google has been making money off Severin and their content for 10 years. And then they come along without recourse and just 86 the channel for Severin. What's Severin supposed to do? So
perhaps they can figure something out to get the channel back up running.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no idea how you would go, or no knowledge about YouTube and how it works. If you,
by the way, since I
such a problem.
Since I mentioned it, people are wanting in the so as of today, there's an article. California reparations panel approves payments of up to $1.2 million for every black resident. So California's legislature is going to. The California Reparations Task Force formally recommended the state offer payments of up to $1.2 million to every qualifying black resident. The task force held a public meeting in Oakland, California yesterday and voted on the final set of recommendations to be sent to the state legislatures. The 9-member panel called on the state to offer its black residents a formal apology in addition to payments. Reparations are not only morally justifiable, but they have the potential to address long-standing racial disparities and inequalities, says Representative Barbara Lee, Democrat, California, after attending the meeting. And, I think there's a lot of the panel's recommendations breaks payments down by the types of historical discrimination. For instance, black residents affected by the redlining by banks would receive $3,366 for each year they lived in California from the early 1930s to the late 1970s, amounting up to $148,099. Now, I see a value to that, but I mean, how far back are you going to go? Yeah. Where does it end? And it's tough, but they got to bring back Severin's channel. And Black Emmanuel, it made me want to buy 2 box sets and give one away just to support Severin. So anyway,
Adventure Square in the live chat said, hopefully Severin and YouTube are talking.
well, the thing is, it's really hard to talk to YouTube.
Okay.
They make unilateral decisions, and you don't know why. And to get somebody on the phone, because they'd rather just give you these punitive things, and then, anyway, Thomas Logan, our friend Thomas Logan says, when will, and you know what, I still haven't sent him his box set. I'm terrible. But I have it right here, and it's all packed up and ready to go. And I've got a couple boxes to send out, so I'll do that this week. When will the Let's Get Physical Media 2023 Euro Tour Kickstarter go up? Well, here's the thing. I might not have to do a Euro Tour Kickstarter because I will find out tomorrow whether maybe we're supposed to talk about doing this European trip. So for those of you who don't know, sort of affiliated with Designing Hollywood, I might go to Europe to do some shooting, in which case I would turn it into I'd love to go to Germany, to France, to the UK, and maybe up to Norway, and do meet and greets and do live broadcasts from pubs and things like that if we could. So
it would be nice.
Video Hunter D says France should pay reparations for the Napoleonic Wars. I mean, but where does it end? I mean, we're going to be paying for our past forever. Everybody's guilty. Yeah. So, and we've got Stub McShave says, he says, it's interesting that Sony has chosen the business model of licensing out all of their movies and shows to other streamers. Considering that almost every streamer is hemorrhaging money, it makes you think that Sony may have picked the right path. Okay, Stubble, this is very interesting, and I was going to do a Robservations about this, and I would love to, let's see, I think it was IndieWire. I'll read this since you brought it up. It's a great article. If I can find it. Let's see, Paramount.
I saw the John Campia topic about Paramount Plus, where he mentioned that they gotten a recommendation to shut the streaming service down.
Yeah,
and then he mentioned that Sony is just licensing out their titles.
Yeah, I can't find this article, but it was really interesting. I don't know why I'm not able to suddenly search while I'm on here, which is I don't understand. Suddenly I'm clearly not cut off from the internet, because I'm here. Let's see if I can find this article. Well, basically, the article said just that. It made the point that Sony, they called Sony a weapons manufacturer. That's what they called them, and that Paramount Plus, they probably can never be profitable, so they should just consider making. And they were going to team up with Netflix at one point. You know, when they were making things like Dolomite Is My Name, and I think they had a deal to make Beverly Hills Cop 4 or Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley, whatever it's called, Beverly Hills Cop AF. That was the deal that was in place, but they I don't think that they can afford. Not everybody can afford to make money via streaming. So there was they had their call, their shareholders call, financial call, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great for old Paramount. So what are you gonna do?
I remember that Paramount, like you said, did a lot of stuff with Netflix together. You know, the Cloverfield movie after the football game was released on Netflix. They had a relationship.
The Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, Cloverfield Paradox, exactly.
Not so great, but
I liked it, Rob.
You did?
I bought it. I bought it. Yeah, I bought it on Blu-ray, Rob.
All right. It's no Cloverfield Lane, I'll tell you that.
That's right, Rob. But it had a great sound design, the movie. For me, I like it.
Okay. Far be it from me.
Alright.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you no.
It was worth owning on Blu-ray, Rob. That was my rating for Cloverfield Paradox. Where do we go, Rob? Live chat?
Where do we go
Should I
from
show
here?
stuff?
Yeah, do the live
Or
chat,
news?
man. We've done the
Okay.
letters. Oh,
Live
we could do news. You want no? Do some live chat. Do some live chat. Give us
Okay.
some live chat, buddy.
Previously on Let's Get Physical Media. Deadpool Red Suit. Good evening from the UK. You guys are great. I love movies, statues, and figures. Nice. Irene Jobson. Do you think digital content can be considered physical media? No, Irene. It's media, but not physical for me. So, Kenneth Crayley Jr., our Superman #1 fan. You guys, Rob and Dieter, are super amazing. Not only amazing, Rob, super amazing.
Super.
And Gordon Waddell.
That's from
amazing.
SSX Tricky. Super.
And Gordon Waddell. All hail the Trash Panda. Gordon, all hail. Back to you. Felix Phantom. I'm willing to bet that Dieter bought a disc for Jedi Survivor this week. No, I have not. Felix Phantom, I have the movie, the game in my list, but I will wait till the price drops because for me it's for a video game too expensive at the beginning, and there seems to be a lot of bugs with the game. No matter what type of console you choose to play it on, the PC version has to be even more buggy, and that is actually a big problem considering buying video games right from the release date. Often we all remember the Cyberpunk 2077 spectacular failure on release date. So it's often actually better to wait buying a video game, not only because of the price drop that will eventually occur, but because the bug fixes will probably finally implemented. That's actually part of the time. It's not like back in the good old days, like Nintendo days, where the cartridge had to work. You know, it were no possible to update a game. But I have it on my radar. Jedi Survivor, of course. RJ Skorengi. Finally saw Evil Dead Rise. Lots of blood and gore. Got what I wanted, but I found it to be a slow start. But RJ, they had immediately the action sequence at the moment to go one day earlier, you know. Bill Barkley, is Mario out in Japan yet? Yes, Bill, as far as I know, there is no market left, I believe, for Super Mario. Undead Zack, I told you, Rob, when I was in the theater watching Evil Dead Rise, that 2 people came way too late. You know, the movie don't start at the starting time. You have easily 20 to 25 minutes of commercials, but they were still too late and already missed the opening prologue, you know. And Undead Silk says, it happens in Holland all the time, Dieter. I even had people removed in my Evil Dead screening for making pictures with their iPhones, which happens often as well.
Wow.
I have no idea what to say about theatrical behavior. Joseph wants to know, how did that Russell Crowe Exorcist movie do? As far as I know, Joseph, not really that particularly well. You mean the Pope's Exorcist?
Yes. Well,
Kenneth
hang on.
Crayley Jr.
Oh, I can tell you that. Let me
Okay.
let me find this information out.
Let's check.
I'll find the information out for you, and I'll tell you where we're at. Now, remember, I don't know about
The Pope's Exorcist.
Let's find out. So, the Pope's Exorcist, it has made worldwide. It has made $66,200,000.
Do we know the budget, Rob?
I don't, but I'll tell you, that's not terrible. I mean, Russell Crowe being in it probably had the budget was probably pretty big, but it's not horrible. I mean, it only made 19 million here, but it made 47 million internationally. And so I mean, it's not great, but again, it really depends on how much the movie costs to make. It's probably expensive. So,
Yeah.
But it wasn't a total disaster, I don't think. But you never know.
No. It depends on perhaps the secondary market, how it will end up in the complete summary.
Yeah.
Kenneth Crayley Jr., I love Return of the Jedi, Rob, but don't take it personally.
No,
Danzig
but
97.
it's been interesting hearing from people that went and saw the re-release, and I've been getting a lot of people saying, you know what? I used to think that you were crazy about your thing, Return of the Jedi opinions, but now people are going, I see what you mean. I'm like, yeah, it's there. You don't have to have me. Don't listen to me.
And Danzig 1979 said, most disappointing movie of your life? You did see Morbius, right, Rob?
Yeah, but I mean, you have to understand, I didn't have any expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, the Return of the Jedi, I had the highest expectations of any movie ever because of Star Wars and Empire.
Yeah.
So
Gordon Vedel, beer is not alcohol in Germany. It's a health drink. Germany has strict beer purity laws, unlike the US. And Valerian Winterdrake, Europeans get beer at birth before mother's milk. Could be true. Danzig, 1979. We just need Superman Returns in 4K. I second that. I would like to have that movie in 4K.
I agree. There's political considerations, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
we know about it. Tom Jr. Jackson, let me see. I forgot to put it out. He was actually happy with my display showing the audition media book, but I forgot to put it out again. Tom. Return of the Disc wants to know, hello, any word on Avatar: The Way of Water 4K Ultra HD? As far as I know, not at the moment, but it surely will come out.
yeah, I mean, we've been promised. I would imagine it is.
Yeah.
I really believe that it's going to come out relatively soon.
Species 1571. Has Rob talked about the Generation short clip yet? Not on this show. So Rob, your take for me personally?
Oh, the regeneration short clips.
Short clip, yeah.
I'm doing observations about all of that tomorrow, and tune in because there's interesting stuff.
I haven't dived into it, Rob. There are more clips or just only the Generation?
No,
clips?
there's 3 actually. It's just people didn't know what they were, and they're all interconnected. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to do a whole a whole observations about the company doing it and what it all means.
Okay. Great. Hassan Chavez. Hey, Deeds, do you have the Velocipastor? No, I have not. But I Googled about the movie, and Justin Toner said everyone should see the Velocipastor. Rob, have you seen the Velocipastor?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
It's about a pastor that, turns into a dinosaur. That's what it is. Velocipastor. I can't. There are people that love those kinds of things. The Asylum movies, the Sharknado stuff, and I understand there's a place for all that. I don't. So it's just not for me. But it's kind of amusing. It's kind of amusing.
I haven't heard of the Veloci.
Oh yeah, Velocipastor, sure. Yep.
Adventure Square. One Cut of the Dead is one of the most enjoyable surprises you will ever see.
So good.
The second at Adventure Square, but you have to go in blind. Don't know anything, and you have to get through the first 40 minutes. Because when I watched One Cut of the Dead for the first time, I didn't know where it was going. I thought, man, what is this kind of a trash movie here? And I had to stop it. I stopped the movie. Okay, we'll finish at another time. Went back. Come on, second watch. And after, when the break came, and I thought, how great. It's probably I have never had a movie that had that kind of a switch where it went from what a shitty movie to what a great movie. I can't remember any movie that had that kind of switcheroo. Right said Ralph said Cloudy Mountains rock, but I haven't seen it. But he says Cloudy Mountain rock. Nice to know. The Alex Sorber, Dieter's purchases are quite diverse. That's right, Alex. Adventure Square, I should pass my collection into Rob Classics and Dieter's Panda Bins. Okay, there you go. The Alex Sorber, if it's too cringy for Dieter, I'm way out. Gordon Waddell says, where do I have it? I got Cape Light's 4K of Bloodsport Media Book. It's awesome. Cape Light is one of the few companies in Europe that will still ship to the US. Yes, Gordon, this is a great 4K release.
That's really becoming a problem
Bloodsport.
that a lot of companies are not shipping to the United States.
But it's nice to see, like you said, Cape Light is going a little bit more internationally. And Thomas Bartholdi, considering Bloodsport, said, I'll sell my kidney to get it and then get a cloned organ. And last week, Rob, on the news section, you showed the blood money set. And Adventure Square said, I'd get that blood money set and start a new Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough. Good, very good idea. Danzig 1979, we watched Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant this week after seeing Aliens. Prometheus was better than I remember. I hope we get another Alien film from Ridley Scott. Hopefully not, considering how good Covenant was. The only good thing that came out of Covenant was the honest trailers that had me laughing in tears. That was the only good thing that came out of Alien Covenant, was the honest trailer. But I think there's a new Alien movie in the works with Fede Alvarez.
Yeah, it's being a little bit more. I don't know anything other than beautiful young people are going to get decimated by a xenomorph. Other than that, I don't. And Noah Hawley's doing an Alien TV show. Now, Dieter, I would just like to take this moment in time to show you, first of all, here's the poster for Velocipaster. And let me just read this. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker uses it to convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. A horror comedy feature produced in 2016 for a budget of merely $35,000, the film went on to be a viral hit when it came to home video in 2019. The film is available for rental or purchase. Okay, so you get the idea, but just a cursory glance. Look at this, buddy. Velocipaster 2. Crowdfunded. So Velocipaster is coming back.
So the movie was what Rob? $35,000.
$35,000. They're crowdfunding. I think they succeeded. So Velocipaster 2 is coming.
You get almost 7 Terrifier 2s out of it.
Wow. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? It's not in the news. I forgot to mention this. Yeah. This is not in the news, but it is news. Tell us about the German Terrifier 2 4K discs. And it's kind of like that book you bought from the Hunger Games. It's kind of like the equivalent of it with how much you have to pay for it. Tell us about what that's all about there, Dieter.
So, Rob, Terrifier 2 got a German release, and you know about the big censorship here in Germany, and it's always great if you can get such a movie uncut. And of course, it was not a surprise that this movie will be a good seller. And Nameless, the company, put out media books for Terrifier 2 as a 4K media book, with a Blu-ray with different cover variations. And I was really looking forward. I already have Terrifier as the US, thanks to Paul from Twinflix. But I was really looking forward to get the German one, just to have it with a German audio track.
Sure, why not?
And I love the cover artwork. And Rob, they sold out, I don't know how fast. These media books sold out, they are not that big in charge of how many there are. And I'm having a special collection site where I stumble across the news, and I saw, Terrifier 2 media books are up for pre-order, and I watched, and they were gone everywhere. I couldn't get any of the media books. And then on Saturday, stumbled across something, and I thought, are you fucking kidding me? There are the Terrifier media books. You can purchase them from Amazon through a third party, but the prices for the media books are insane. I don't know, Rob, what the original price were. Probably about 40 euros. So, but now they had a price 3 times of this. So 120 euros for just one media book. Plus
Scalped.
Plus shipping.
You got scalped.
Plus shipping. Yeah. Yeah. Normally I only see this kind of behavior with Rammstein tickets, if they're sold out, concert tickets. But Blu-rays, normally not. But I'm not worried, Rob. If a title sells that well, it will get re-released. Definitely. But I couldn't believe it, Rob, the price.
And not even you could justify dropping the green.
No, not. Because I have it, Rob. And I already waiting on a special editions from another country, considering Terrifier 2. But I don't want to give too much away. But it would have been nice to have the German media book, especially with the one cover artwork that I love, that is different than those two.
Right.
But I stumbled across the prices, Rob, and I thought, are you nuts? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
But
yeah.
But those prices were insane. Rob. I couldn't believe it. So I had to send a WhatsApp to you. Look at this insane. Couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's out of print, Rob,
if you want the out-of-print disc, you have to pay.
Yeah, exactly. No Money G. I just bought a second Klipsch SP 120 sub. One is killer, second is insanity. And No Money G, can't we use all a little bit insanity in our
I was kind of thinking of doubling up my subwoofer power. I'm like, the room is just not, I mean, it maybe might balance out the sound a little bit more, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
You could try it. Rob.
Yeah, I could try it. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. You can always check it. Oh, okay. It's needed, it's not needed, If you want to go more insanity, Rob, buy a second one, Adventure Square. Rob is gonna end up in a car chase in LA trying to get the 4K copy of To Live and Die in LA from Friedkin's handcuffed briefcase.
I mean, he's just not, it's his fault. It was supposed to come out this month, man. But you know what? We got Stone Cold coming out in Blu-ray from Kino, so
that's one question that I wanted to ask you a little bit earlier. Why didn't you have your Stone Cold already? What is up, Kino Lorber? Mike?
Well, you know what? I'll tell. I mean, he'll send it to me. I only asked for 4Ks, but I can call up and ask. I'm actually gonna ask because I want to do a giveaway, so I want to see if I can get like 5 copies of it. Yeah. He'll probably be like, "What?"
It would be nice. So I forgot, Rob, that it's only the 4K. It's coming out only on Blu-ray because I was really looking forward to do this show, and I thought, Rob has probably his Stone Cold already. He's getting the Kino Lorber titles a little bit earlier before the street date. So, okay, no Stone Cold.
I'm going to ask if I can do the giveaway. I'm still trying to get Craig Baxley and Brian Bosworth.
Yeah. That would be a great show.
I would love it.
Punking says, get Dieter to the whining about movies for Tango Shalom. Unfortunately, I have to watch it first.
Yeah.
I have to watch it.
Well,
I promised, Rob, I will watch it on Peacock, but haven't got around to it.
Tango Shalom is now available on the Sky Store in the UK. It's geo-blocked, but if you live in the United Kingdom, if you're done with your coronation festivities, why not turn on Tango Shalom? Order it from the UK Sky Store. Available now.
Oh, no. And Rob, last week we did try to move the show along quickly because we have a members chat, and people were strangely upset that you said, I have only 3 hours to do the members chat. And Tim Hans said, only 3 hours? That's slacking. That's slacking, Rob.
What can I say, man?
And let me just see. Jermaine King says 3 hour means 5 hours in observation world.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Thomas Bartoldi, member chat is like a SpongeBob 5 hours later intermission. And Tim Hans said, in Rob's hyper reality world, time is sped up, of course.
That's true. Yeah, that is so true.
As said it is last week, I was really disappointed with Operation Fortune. Bill Barkley, Operation Fortune wasn't that great. Equity Crew, Operation Fortune is really good. Okay. Hugh Grant has been killing it. Okay. And Pete and Cart, I thought Operation Fortune was a good romp. Okay. Some people had
the Covenant or whatever, his new movie that's out with Jake Gyllenhaal, people say is quite good.
Nice.
And I really want to see that.
It's about a true
a true story.
True background, as far as I know. Yeah, true story. Kenneth Graley Jr., or a Superman fan. Superman 4 is always a guilty pleasure of mine. Kenneth, I probably can't even go that far, but it's a nice film to study. What can go wrong, considering putting a movie together? He, she, we, big boobs says, hands down, best movie, unique steelbook is Germany, Halloween 2, Lights and Sounds Edition. Unfortunately, he, she, we, big boobs, I don't know that edition, and I don't know if you mean Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie or the original Halloween 2.
That directed by Rick Rosenthal, or Halloween Kills, which would be Halloween 2. I know.
Yeah. Considering the Superman movies, the Alex Zorba, I remember seeing 3 at the cinema, and after having had seen the first 2 that way, yuck, so let down. Let me just see.
What can you do?
No. Kenneth Graley Jr., wow, those Superman steelbooks are super amazing. Man, those are going to be good once I get them on May 9th. And the man says, first Superman is always the best.
It is. But I'm disappointed that we're not getting that sound mix from the 2008 was it 2018 version?
8.
You know?
Yeah.
That first 4K has the proper this 5.1, the good one.
Yeah.
But the new one doesn't.
But the 2018 is identical to the one in the box.
Is it? No, because one of the 4Ks has the right.
But that mix was an earlier Blu-ray release, I believe, Rob, not a 4K.
Oh, it might. Oh, you might be right.
Could be wrong. So I can't see myself that they would press a new.
Yeah, no, they
4K.
haven't. They haven't, and that's another thing. Why do the studios keep doing this to us? Why do they keep fucking everything up? Why?
Pete and Cart, I remember feeling like a regular fancy pants when I got my Region 1 DVD box set of the original Superman films USA imports. USA imports were a big show-off point back in the early noughties. I remember that too, Rob, because my first DVD player was just for American discs. DVD hasn't going on here in Germany. It was some shenanigans about the audio that they wanted to introduce here with a different system. So it took a while until DVD got its foothold here, but I already had just a DVD player. And if I remember, Rob, what I paid for that DVD player, it's probably was pretty pricey, and you could only watch American DVDs on it, considering the region coding.
Right.
Danzig, 1979. I wonder if George Feldenstein was able to view the uncut Superman 4 film they found in the vault. They found something, okay. But I think I remember reading something that there probably is no sound on that cut. The Alex Sorber, the Phantom Zone, that's where Kurtzman should be shipped for his crimes against culture.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. And the man says, Heidi rolls off that German tongue easily. Yes, Tim, it does. Mad Heidi.
Huh.
Okay. Gordon Waddell, the Phantom Zone is too good for Kurtzman. He needs to go to hell and suffer for all eternity for his blasphemy. Okay. Danzig, 1979. Warrior Season 3 in June on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yes, Danzig, I'm very thrilled too, because I loved the first 2 seasons. The show got cancelled, but HBO picked it up again. Probably had good streaming numbers for it. And Season 3 will come out in June. Danzig, 1979 says, don't tell Dieter. I've not watched The Hunger Games. I know I'm a horrible person. Danzig, you're not a horrible person. Perhaps a person with questionable tastes, but it's not
a deal breaker.
Too bad. Not a deal breaker. Exactly. Not a deal breaker. And demands, this is actually not from this live chat. This is from another live chat. Shenanigans is one of Dieter's favorite words. It is, Tim. Makes me look that I know what I'm talking about. This was the live chat, Rob, from last week.
A fine live chat it is. We got a few more super chats and stuff in. Thomas Logan says Paul Mescal is playing Lucilla and Max's son in Gladiator 2. Yes. And Connie Nielsen is coming back as the son of the new Gladiator. She signed up. Thank God. I love Connie Nielsen. Winter's Soldier became a new member of the channel. Thank you, Winter Soldier. Ron C. says, hello, Rob and Dietz. I've been stuck at home with a sprained ankle. I can only watch so much talking channels. It's fantastic to pull out discs plus discs that are not on streaming, and commentary is available.
Right.
I agree. That's one of the great things about having a disc collection, is because you have those commentaries that you can pull out, which is fantastic. Anonymous just sent in a $5 tip. Thanks, buddy. Or it could be a girl, too. You never know. I shouldn't say buddy. I should never assume anything. Stubble McShave says, I both look forward and dread the day that AI is so advanced that you can choose your own adventure movies. You'll be able to pause the movie, tell it to make another choice, and have it generated as you watch it. Hopefully it's 20 years away. I think it's not that far away. And imagine if you could just start swapping out using AI. Like, what if you wanted, instead of Sharon Stone starring in Basic Instinct, you could just ask for another actress. They'll video generate it, use AI to generate the voice and spit it out. We're going to get to that kind of crazy world soon enough. I'm not happy about it, but what can we do? 200 Watt Studio says, Rob, with the horrible quality control from Warner Brothers on the Rocky and Superman 4K sets, can we petition George Feltenstein to do all future Warner Brothers releases? You know, the problem is that George does not work for Warner Home Video. He works for, his Warner Archive, and he works for the studio. But I think that these kinds of mistakes, did you read Bill Hunt's review of the Max Fleischer animated Superman disc?
No, I haven't, Rob.
Everyone's wanted the Fleischer Superman cartoons, the animated movies.
Yeah.
Bill said they're terrible, that they've been completely scrubbed of detail. He went off and said it's a total missed opportunity. And look, this is coming about because you have people that don't know. I mean, again, I've said it before, our institutional knowledge, the studios got rid of everybody that knew anything because they were too expensive to keep around. They figured, they're going to make a bunch of money from streaming. Now they realized, no, they're not making the money they wanted to make, so their back catalogs are now valuable. But the people that are working on them don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know the difference. If you see grain, you don't scrub the grain out. You can't take something out of an image without losing something in that image. And apparently the Max Fleischer Superman disc is terrible. I haven't read, because Bill was really looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it. But, to hear that they've scrubbed
and
out.
Kenneth Cranley Jr. probably too.
Yeah. And when you hear that they've done these kinds of things, you wonder who fell asleep at that wheel, because it's just not cool, dude. Not cool at all. What are you going to do? And then it's funny. Somebody said, I think it was Neil Bulk. Somebody was telling me that the opening score to Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, they used the wrong take.
Yeah. I heard that too. Yeah.
I mean, just, it's frustrating. So we're caught up there. Danzig has been a member for the channel for 2 months. I can give you some news. I already told you how excited I was to get Terrifying Girls High School. Yeah. So that's all good. To add, now I've got, with my Pinky Violence collection, I'm going to have 2 of the 4 movies in that series. Something else they announced, of course, this is what the Wicker Man looks like. This is the big 4K, which I love this cover. Again, Studio Canal putting out the big box set. Can't wait to get this one, even though, Kelvin Wellborn bought me the other box set. But you know what? Who cares? So I've got 2. Great. Shout Factory dropping some new discs in 4K. Cropsy, The Burning. I actually like this movie. I want to say that if I remember correctly, this might be one of the first Miramax movies. Like Harvey Weinstein was involved with it somehow. I forget. Shout Factory getting movies from Paramount, putting out, like, this is a $500 million grossing movie. And yet they license it out to Scream Factory? How is that possible? I don't even know. I don't understand this. Scream Factory is putting it out, though. I'm sure they'll do a great job. Lee Whannell's movie before he made Invisible Man, Upgrade. I really like this movie. I think it's pretty good. Second Sight did a great release of this, so Upgrade's coming out in 4K from Scream. Don't scream too loudly. British label. This British label is putting out Rutger Hauer's Dead or Wanted Dead or Alive. I don't remember. With Gene Simmons, yeah. So there you go. Wanted Dead or Alive, that's coming out. A great movie called Gregory's Girl from Bill Forsyth, who made Local Hero, is coming out from BFI in 4K. Love to get this. I'm a big Bill Forsyth fan. And let's see, this next thing, let me pull up the, I want to pull up the actual information on this. Oh, I don't know where it is. Oh, well. Anyway, it's a collection of Italian comedies. It's a box set. I don't know if this is from Radiance. It might be from Radiance Films in the UK. They're kind of an offshoot of Indicator, but these look kind of cool. I mean, I love Italian box sets, which is great. And then Scream Factory is also doing in 4K. They've announced Chucky, Cult of Chucky. They announced Bride of Chucky. They announced Seed of Chucky. And then they announced Curse of Chucky, all in 4K. Are you, awesome. Dieter, are you a fan of the Chucky movies?
Yes, I am. You are not, but I am. I love Chucky.
I like Jennifer Tilly. I like the first Chucky, the first 2, really. I haven't seen them in a while, but it just, I prefer a different kind of a horror.
Yeah.
So
I know.
But that's it. I mean, that's all I got for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know what?
Okay, nice.
Wait, hang on. That isn't true. Disc sales, man. Top 10 Blu-ray sellers for the week of ending April. Dude, Jesus Revolution is the #1 movie. Can you believe that? In America, faith-based. Actually, this movie looked pretty good. It, hippies and Jesus hanging out together. Looks pretty good. Justice League X RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. I mean, is that another animated film? Don't know, but that's #2. Cocaine Bears #3. Dragon Ball Super #4. Plane #5. Man Who Fell to Earth from 1976 on Blu-ray is #6. Police Story 3 Super Cop. Now, these are Blu-rays. again, like we showed our big box sets, is great. Magic Mike's Last Dance, Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3 on Blu-ray, and Megan bringing up the rear. Those are the top Blu-ray bestsellers. Next is, of course, the top 5 home media sellers. That means we're including DVD here as well. Jesus Revolution, Cocaine Bear, Justice League, Magic Mike, and Plane. So they're all on the top list, in addition to being biggest bestsellers of all. We've got our 3D top sellers, Top Gun 3D and The Wizard of Oz. For all that, less than 20 people make up this list, but hey, it's a short but rarefied list. You should all be proud of yourselves. All be proud of yourselves. Good for you. And then yeah, totally. And then finally, look at this, bro. These are the top 5 4K UHD discs, and look, 88 films with Police Story 3, Super Cop 4K. Look at that. Look at that. Then we got the Criterion Triangle of Sadness up the top of that list. Everything Everywhere All at Once hanging in there. Justice League, RWBY, Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. And then Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, bringing up the rear at number 5. So there you go. Those are our best sellers for the week ending August 29th.
Some surprises there.
Yeah.
And I read in the chat from, let me just see if I find it again, from Winter Soldier, Jesus Revolution was surprisingly good. Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
I actually think it looks good.
Okay. So Rob, I still have a little stuff to show.
Yeah, I do too. We can bring up, yeah. What do you got? Show me what you got.
The first thing I bought, which will unfortunately go back, is not a movie, but when we order a lot of stuff and, they come shipped, and sometimes the MRA cases are faulty or defect, you have to get new ones. But I bought the wrong ones, Rob. I bought this one,
oh, no.
but I didn't check the size. They are the small ones, but I needed the bigger ones. So this is more, for the people who pirate stuff, So this will go back, and I will buy new ones that come with the right measurements to change them. And if Rob comes to Europe, there is one thing for certain: there is hell on the border.
All right.
Western Cat in the Back with Ron Perlman and Frank Grillo, which I always have a good time seeing him in. This is actually a 4K, Rob, of that movie.
Ooh.
So
nice.
Cat in the Back, Rob. Cat in the Back. Oh, it will be a nice gritty Western.
Not bad.
Hell on the border. It came with different cover variations, Rob, and as you always said, you don't know how they will make a profit because the charges, the amount are so limited. This is actually, Rob, number 30 of 99. There are only 99 media books of this.
Hey, if they can make that work financially, God bless them. And God bless you for owning it.
Yeah. This one I already own as the US version, but I totally love the movie, so I had to get the German media book. Unfortunately, it's not 4K. Rob, you should get the Korean movie, Project Wolf Hunting, which was a bloody so good time. One of my favorites this year. Look at this, Rob. How can you not?
Come on. How can you not want that?
This, yeah, exactly, Rob. So this is, and it comes, Rob. This is the German rating when it actually hasn't got a rating, because it says here it is uncut, Rob, uncut and uncensored. Prison transfer, Rob, in a cargo ship, and there is some I would say, how can I describe it? Some perhaps super soldier on board too. How do you not want Con Air on a ship?
Yeah, how can you not? How can you not want that?
And it's already out and it's always strange, Rob, that Korean movies, it's out in the States already, it's out here in Germany, but as far as I know, it's not out in Korea yet, on Blu-ray. Project Wolf Hunting as a media book. And the last one came out as a 4K, and I had to check, Rob, the American title again, because the German title is a little bit different here. And let me just see that I don't say something wrong. So the English title was now I know it again. Law-Abiding Citizen with Sheriff Butler and Jamie Foxx. And the German title, Rob, is The Law of Revenge. Gesetz.
Of course.
Gesetz der Rache. So this is a 4K, Rob, of the movie, but this is the director's cut of the movie.
Oh, there you go.
And I had a great time. And I totally forgot that the movie is already almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Do we know anything more about the
Jamie
Foxx
Foxx
situation?
No. Other than the fact that he's been hospitalized for weeks now, I don't know if he had a stroke or what happened. I really don't know. I love Jamie Foxx. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Comini.
He did tweet from the hospital saying he's getting better.
So, Law-Abiding Citizen, my last purchase of this week as a 4K media book.
I've got a couple more things, just two more things.
Yep.
You know what? I had an opportunity. I did get the Poltergeist Steelbook finally.
For me, it's not as egregious as the other one.
No, I didn't. You know what's funny? I realized that I hadn't bought Poltergeist at all. Like, it slipped through the cracks. I was actually looking for it to watch it. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I went back and looked in my history and realized we had our fun show about the Poltergeist.
Which I can totally understand, Rob. Considering the cover artwork, even if we said the important thing is the transfer, but at one point, if the cover is like that, Rob, you have to say no.
I guess I just forgot about it and didn't buy it. So I found a good price on the Steelbook and picked it up. The Best Buy.
It's nice because it should be sold out too. The Steelbook.
It's gone. But I found a good one. Now I spent an inordinate amount of money in Germany, Dieter.
Okay.
I was looking for this in 4K. I didn't know if it came out in 4K, but it did. The Taiwanese zombie disease horror film.
It's not a zombie movie. It's not.
I know it's not. The Sadness. And this is a German Steelbook. It was very expensive. It was,
but it comes with, says Rob, it has English subtitles.
Yes, that's why I got it, because it has English subtitles.
And it's region free. It's even region free, Rob.
Yeah.
Even if that doesn't matter to us.
And it's pretty gorgeous disc. Doesn't really have much going on here, but
your take on the movie, Rob?
I love this movie.
Yeah,
I love this movie. Is so
lived
good.
Up to my hype, what I was expecting from the movie.
Cape Light put this out. I mean, look at that cover. Come on.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I think it's really, really good. It's got great violence.
And practical blood. A lot of
the practical effects are great. Yeah. And I think I spent $60 on this or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sold out.
But you know what? So what? Yeah. I have it. I have the Sadness on 4K. And I'm really happy to have it in 4K. So that was my big, ridiculous purchase of the week.
To its side. And for me, just two movies, Rob, I saw or bought as a digital stream, and I will buy the Blu-ray. I watched Renfield, Rob, had a great time with it. What a bloody good ride. 90 minutes, blood-soaked, even if it was CGI, but I had really a great time. Was really surprised how much I enjoyed Renfield. I will buy it. And why did I buy it as a digital purchase, Rob?
Yeah, why?
It hasn't even come out, Rob, here. I don't know why, but Universal movies, the smaller ones, are getting a really great release here in theater. Here, Cocaine Bear is even has just started now, and Renfield will come out at the end of the month, Rob. And considering movies, I'm an impatient guy. If I can see something earlier, then a theatrical release here, I have to watch it. The next one I didn't see in theaters, but I can just occur like all the other people said. It's a really fun action-adventure movie, Dungeons & Dragons. What a great time. And I totally will get a Blu-ray for it. And I wanted to ask
You'll get the 4K for it. By the way, it was announced. The 4K was announced. Yeah. It's coming.
Considering Dungeons & Dragons was unfortunately not the big hit, could it be that actually considering Dungeons & Dragons, you don't have characters that you know. Could that actually be a hindrance for people to go?
Well, I think.
Unlike-
Look, I really like Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it was a lot of fun, and
Yeah, totally.
I think you might be right. I mean, it's a franchise property, but the idea, the Dungeons and it's not the characters that are the. I mean, I think if they made a second one, it'd probably do better. But I don't even think it broke 100 million domestic.
Barely.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of a bummer.
And actually, Rob, it would be a great franchise. You could do more with it, but you don't have to rely on the same cast. You can do other action adventure movies with other people, other actors, considering the Dungeons and Dragons playing style. To invent your own adventure. But I had a great time. It even had, Rob, a little bit Monty Python-esque humor in it, with the skeletons. That was the great scene with the 5 questions that had me laughing. So really great Dungeons and Dragons. Unfortunately, and Dungeons and Dragons, it shows us, Rob, that reviews, it's nice to have great reviews, but it doesn't translate into good box office in the end.
No,
I
mean, and
it
also
can help.
Yeah, in Dungeons and Dragons, it is what it is, and it is a culty niche thing, and I think people think sometimes it's more popular than it really is. Not that it isn't popular, but it didn't translate over to the movie screen.
Yeah.
So
and a week later, Super Mario came out, and then of course that movie buried the Dungeons and Dragons. Then probably, But I had a great time. We totally buy it.
Yeah, so, it's a bummer.
Yeah, that one I forgot, Rob, which I bought and I watched before I put up my setup here to do the show. I finally watched High Heat, Rob, with Olga Kurylenko and Don Johnson. Unfortunately, slightly rotten, Rob. 5.5 out of 10.
Oh man!
I wanted to ask you, Rob, since this plays in the kitchen, did you get around to watch Boiling Point?
I did. I loved it. I love
like the Critical Drinker. Have you seen the review of the Critical Drinker for it?
No, I didn't realize.
The Critical Drinker has a review about Boiling Point. He watched it too. Your take, Rob? Insane.
I thought it was terrific. What was amazing? It's a one setting. It's in one, and they make it
no tricks, Rob. There is no cutaways. It's really a one shot.
It's really a one shot movie. It's really really interesting. I really thought it was brilliantly done. And it had some tension. It ratcheted it up. It was good. Yeah. I really liked it. I'm glad I got the Second Sight box set.
I hope I remember it correctly, Rob. I went through the bonus features for the movie. They had planned 4 takes to do 4 one-shot takes, but then COVID happened and they only had 2, and this is the second go through that they had. I think if I remember the bonus features correctly, but
I haven't looked at the bonus features yet, but that makes sense.
But for me, it was when I bought the movie, I didn't know it was a one-shot movie, and I thought, okay, no cut. Okay, 5 minutes later, still no cut. Okay, and it was great to see how it all fit together, and great performances. And your friend, the Critical Drinker, like I said, has a review out for. But back to this movie, Rob, because it plays in the kitchen too. Olga is the chef of that kitchen. Don Johnson is her the partner of the restaurant.
Right.
Both are married. And Don has a lot of debts to pay, and she is ex-KGB, and the bad guys want to burn down the restaurant to get the insurance money. But those two say, we have something against it. The problem with the movie, Rob, is it's tough to say. The kitchen setting is really small, and that's where almost all the action is happening, and I think that can help action, but in this instant I thought it hindered the movie a little bit. Just that kitchen space was just like in Boiling Point, Rob, really small to do something greater than it did. And there is a fight between Olga and another ex-KGB female agent. And the problem is you could see the stunt woman and the wig, because the wig had a totally different haircut than the actress who played the role did. It was so obviously, that was unfortunate. But there was a great fire stunt drop, because, as we know, I haven't seen a practical fire stunt in probably forever, considering everything is done with CGI. So to see a practical fire stunt, that was great. But for me, and then it rounded it up very quickly at the end. So unfortunately, slightly rotten. Slightly rotten.
Slightly
but Don
rotten.
Johnson,
Oh, well.
But Don Johnson is in the is a lead as well. He's not in the movie only 5 minutes. So he's the second lead of the movie. I watched Hahi. So this was my take for the week, Rob.
I'll take it.
Do you have something left?
Yeah, we got just quickly. We got a few more super chats. Yep. Hang on, I just had them. Oh, here we go. Danzig has become a member. 200 Watt Studio says, a great channel is some damn fool idealistic crusader who did a great review of the Superman 4K set and its problems. I didn't know that channel. I have to look up some damn fool idealistic crusader. I like that. Ron C says, Rob, for some reason I can't find the upgrade membership. I'm on the main website. Oh, okay. The memberships for the channel you get on YouTube. Yep. So that's a YouTube thing. Members are a YouTube thing. So you could find that on YouTube. And then our friend Thomas Logan says, Rob, tell us all about Bryan Singer's Logan's Run.
Ooh.
Well, you know what? I can do you one better. Would you like me to do one better for him? Look at this. You want to see something cool? Are you ready? Are you ready, Dieter? You're on the live. You can see us live. Look at this. Ooh. It's the Logan's Run screenplay. Revisions by Christopher McQuarrie. And this screenplay is dated March 1st, 2006. I'll just read the first page, maybe. Black. A man's voice, soft, quiet, soothing. Voiceover. After centuries of struggle, a new era had come, an intellectual and technological revolution. Still images stream by, less a montage than an advertisement, a promotion. Mankind was at long last on the verge of eradicating disease, war, poverty, and pollution. The stills show carefully selected images of the strife and confusion in a world strange yet hauntingly familiar. It is our future. One thing in common in each image, the world is crowded. Take, for example, the shot of Stonehenge, with apartment towers looming in what had once been the surrounding countryside. But a good campaign would never dwell on the bad. Things get better and fast. Again, in stills, speeding by us faster and faster, we are teased with glimpses of a future we long to see. The one they promised you in grade school. Technology offers sight for the blind, legs for the lame, food for the starving, peace and harmony for all. Voiceover. The symbols of this revolution were the colonies, pristine ecosystems ringing the globe. Farms used to feed a planet slowly edging back from the brink of overpopulation. Exterior Earth's orbit day, said colonies wheel-like and gleaming in a geosynchronous ring around the planet, an awesome sight. Mankind looked ahead to an age of prosperity, an age of peace. We direct your attention to the Earth below, half in sunlight, half in darkness, the night blazing with the glow of ground lights, enough that we can make out the shape of entire continents through a faint, reddish haze. The voice says, but this new age meant nothing to the forces of nature. Push into Earth, smooth but faster than light. We find ourselves in a forest, lush and green, peaceful. Titles Yellowstone National Park, a matter of time. The serene majesty of one of the last wildlife reserves on Earth. Shot after shot of silent, peaceful nature, bright sunshine, running water, a massive stag grazes in the quiet meadow. Then the animal senses something. Looking up, there's an almost imperceptible rumbling, less a sound than a sensation. Something bad is going to happen. Close on the geysers of Yellowstone, simmering, steaming, bubbling, their percolating changes suddenly go to something bigger. Steam erupts violently from one geyser after another, and then the blast. We'll have to move back safely to observe it. Say, exterior, Seattle, Washington. A black wall of debris and ash comes at us moving faster than the speed of sound. Thus, we don't hear it. Just before it swallows us, we jump back to Los Angeles, California. The black wall shows no sign of slowing. It overtakes us, and this time we stay. We hear it now, and we wish we hadn't. Wind moving at 800 miles per hour. The shock wave changes day to night in the blink of an eye, leveling buildings like blades of grass. What little is left standing is buried under 10 feet of searing hot ash. And then it goes on. The Pacific Ocean, Chicago, Illinois, New York, and space. And then it goes from there. But there you go. That's how the script opened, with the destruction of Earth by the super volcano in Yellowstone National Park. So there's a little taste. You want me to talk about Bryan Singer's Logan's Run script? There, I read you some of it. How about that? I know it's just a tantalizing glimpse, but where else can you get that? So there you go, Thomas Logan. And Bryan Singer's conception of Logan's Run takes place on one of those orbital satellites. Instead of a dome city, it's very much like a Gundam side or Babylon 5 or something. The movie takes place there. So there you go.
Okay.
So anyway, I got nothing more.
The only one thing that I want to say, Rob, after the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, I have another trial to watch, and of course it's the Chris Gore trial. Disney Star Wars failing, on the film thread, and the charges have dropped last Wednesday, and I can't wait when the trial will continue next Wednesday. Rob, will you be in the witness stand against Disney?
I don't know. Chris mentioned something to me about it, but I don't know if, who knows.
And I'm really looking forward for the defense side, Rob. I thought this is a great idea. Star Wars on trial on Chris Gore's Film Thread channel, and the charges have dropped last Wednesday against Disney. So I'm really looking forward to hear what the defense will bring.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Very
great idea.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I want to point out to all the people who watch this channel, we have a couple of new episodes of things up. A new game developer, Architects of Imagination, a game developer podcast, dropped Saturday night. So check out DJ's new guest for the week. And then, of course, Lana and her husband, Alan, have created another episode 2 of their review series here on the Burnettwork. This time, Lana takes a look at the great the year 2000, Kenji Fukasaku's seminal Japanese cult classic Battle Royale. She did a great review of it, so check that out on the Burnettwork. We dropped it at midnight last night. And then tonight I'm going to be interviewing a writer about the Rick Cleveland, who was he wrote for 6 Feet Under and Mad Men and West Wing, about the writer's strike and where we're all at. So check that out later. And that's where we're at on the Burnettwork. Nice. So there you go.
Rob, just one quick question. You do the screenings with Elizabeth and her
yeah,
father.
we haven't been able to do we haven't done that the last couple weeks because they've been out of town.
Yeah. Would you think Boiling Point would be a good movie to show them?
I don't know if they would dig it, but but maybe. I mean, I would show that.
A little bit of a more modern movie.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
It'd be interesting to get their take on it.
Yeah, totally. It would be a great movie for Elizabeth use.
Yeah, definitely. Elizabeth will totally watch that. That's a great movie for us to do it. And now that they're turning it into a TV series too, so it's a great idea.
So, Rob, I think we're through with our show.
We're done.
We've shown everything.
Everything. It's all good. Yeah.
So, from my end, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. I want to thank everybody for generously supporting the chat, or generously supporting us via super chats and tips. And I want to thank our members we're getting a lot more members. Thank you for that. We're going to have another member call next week, and I'm going to start dropping some exclusive video content for members first before it goes up on the regular channel. So thank you. I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson for moderating this show. I don't know who Lord Toth was here. He was moderating as well. I don't know if Louise X Sparrow was here, but if you were, thank you. But thank you, or Justin Toner. But thank you all for the work
Justin
you
was
do.
here.
All right, Justin.
Yeah.
Thank you. And there will just be more stuff coming. More stuff
We'll
is
be
coming.
back next week. Hopefully, Rob has seen Guardians until then to give us his take.
I can't
His
wait.
take on the latest
And
MCU movie.
Succession, another episode of Succession. It's been a great year. It seems like it's ending very, very quickly. I can't wait to see what happens tonight. And then
I'm looking forward to the new episode of Barry.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And tonight should be a pretty good episode of Robservation, so check that out. All right,
See you
everybody.
Next week.
It's true. You will.
Bye.